Hello, fellow stargazers. This is Dr. Vicky speaking to you from the Caesar Transformation Healing Center. It's time for Taroscopes. We're going to be doing the Taroscopes for the sign of Taurus. That's Taurus Sun, Taurus Moon, Taurus Rising for the month of November 2023. Numerologically, November 2023 is an 18-9 vibration. That is a vibration connected to Neptune and on the tree of life, and of course Pisces on the tree of life, and of course Neptune is the planet in Pisces right now. 18-9, the moon card in the tarot, is a time of lunacy. So it's important that you try to stay balanced, because there's a lot of things that are going to continue to happen in the month of November. A lot of emotional ups and downs, but a lot of this has to do with releasing. There's a lot of releasing that's happening in November, and that is expressed through that 18-9 vibration. All right, let's take a look at the astrology to start. Okay. All right, here we go. And I'm going to put it on the slideshow because it's bigger for both of us. All right, so as we start November, we have, of course, the sun in Scorpio. For Taurus, this is your seventh house of relationship. So we have a focus on relationship. The sun doesn't move into your eighth house until it moves into Sagittarius, and that happens on the 22nd of November. So, however, the sun in Sagittarius is also deals with relationships, except it's eighth house issues. So the things that will be being illuminated are your emotional connections in your relationships, also sexual connections, money connections, and also this is a place of transformation. Whenever the sun goes through the eighth house, there are things that you will become aware of that need to change. So that happens after November 22nd, although you may have an inkling before then. So it's not like the 22nd hits and suddenly you know. We have Mercury starting the month in Scorpio. It's in Scorpio till the 10th. Again, your house of relationships. Then it moves into your eighth house, another house of relationship. If you're doing any tax stuff while Mercury goes through that house, it's a good idea to double check your numbers. Always double check because that is the house of taxation. So you don't want to piss off the wrong people. Mercury is in Sagittarius from the 10th to the 30th of November. We have Venus ingressing out of Virgo into Libra, where she spends most of the month. She moves into Libra on the 8th, and she'll be there throughout the entire month. Venus in the 6th house is a good time for you to really take your health seriously. Sometimes Venus can cause us to overindulge. Not so much in Libra, although Libra tends to like sweets. But just, you don't want to make concessions that are going to ultimately harm you, agreeing just to agree and all that stuff. So you have to watch that. Although it's not necessarily a Taurus thing. It's really kind of more of a Venus thing. Mars will be in Scorpio from November 1st to November 24th. Of course, that is your house of relationships. So relationships will be kind of spicy. It's also your house of open enemies. So you do need to be circumspect at this time, as people can come at you. And then Mars will move into your eighth house. Let's see, on the 24th. And it is there until January of 2024. So it's spending quite a bit of time in that eighth house, but we're only going to talk about this month. We have Jupiter, which is retrograde in Taurus, Jupiter in your first house. You also have Uranus retrograde in Taurus in your first house. This is a reconsideration of sort of the things that you have said, the progress that you've made. There's been a lot of like sudden leaps forward for you, Taurus. This is an opportunity for you to sort of look back and see maybe things need to be redone in certain situations. The first house is also a health house. With Uranus there, you can be a little accident prone, and then you add Jupiter to the mix, and they could be big accidents. So, of course, slow and steady wins the race when it comes to actually to all, especially you, especially you. And everybody you know is like, you're not asking them to go slower, are you? Well, yes, go slower. Saturn stations direct in this month, Saturn in Pisces. It's made it all the way back to the 30 minutes of Pisces. So it went all the way forward, I think, to it was 8 or 9 of Pisces, and it has been going backwards. Now it turns around. Saturn turning around. We'll start to feel like we can make some progress. Saturn for you is in that 11th house of friends and goals. So you may feel like you can finally work on your goals that have sort of been where you thought you were doing okay. Things have been kind of elusive in that respect, and now you'll be able to start moving forward. And those goals are humanitarian in nature. They tend to be group oriented. And in fact, you might actually get to see your friends more often now as Saturn moves forward through that house. Uranus remains retrograde for the month. Neptune also retrograde through the month, only moving about a degree this month. And Pluto moves about 2 degrees, not exactly, it's like a degree and a half, from 28 to 29 degrees of Capricorn. Pluto just went direct last month, and is moving out of Capricorn. It's going to be back in Aquarius in January. It's not the last gasp of Capricorn. However, we do have about a 3-month period in the fall of 2024 when Pluto is in that last degree of Capricorn, and I'll hold my ideas of what that might mean. All right. As far as you being a Venus ruled sign, there are a couple of things that Venus is involved in this month that could affect you because it is your ruling planet. We do have an opposition of Venus and Neptune. This is when Venus is still in the 5th house. It happens in the first week. This is an awareness, Venus-Neptune opposition, awareness around love and compassion in the houses or in the axis of love. And so this is a awareness around perhaps who your friends are, and who is romantic situations. We do have Venus making inconjunct to Saturn. This happens on week 2. Let's see, I believe Venus is in Libra at that time. No, Venus in conjunct Saturn. It's in Libra. Yeah, when Venus is in Libra, Saturn in conjunct. Yep. Okay. We have Venus make a sextile to Mercury this month. And that sextile is actually creates a yod to Jupiter, So here, and here, that Jupiter being in your first house in Taurus, you may have to make some adjustments, especially around overindulgence. You may have to make some adjustments in relation to overindulgence. Of course, Jupiter's moving through your first house. Sometimes that can it expands your horizons. It can also expand your waistline. So be careful of that. And at the end of the month, Venus finds herself in a yod again with Uranus and Neptune, but this time she is in Libra. And so towards the beginning of the month, it more has to do, I think, with personal stuff for you. Towards the end of the month, you're looking at how you can contribute into the wider world. So I think that's what I want to say. Oh, we have two. I almost forgot the moons, right? We have a new moon at 21 degrees of Scorpio in your seventh house of relationship and open enemies. So you can start new relationships with people who love you or hate you. Sorry. Um, this would be a time if you wanted to initiate a new relationship, a new business relationship, perhaps, or even a marriage. This would be a good time for that with that new moon in Scorpio. But I will tell you that new moon in Scorpio is quite potent. Um, but it's still a new moon. It's still about new beginnings. And we have a full moon in the sign of Gemini. That full moon occurs at the end of the month. The new moon is occurring on the, as far as I didn't put dates on here. The new moon is happening on Monday, the 13th of November, and the full moon is happening on Monday, the 27th of November. And that full moon is in the sign of Gemini, with the sun, of course, in Sag. That is activating your houses associated with your resources and your shared resources. Full moons are always about awareness of something. So you will become aware of something that perhaps you weren't aware of yet, or something comes to a head when it comes to your money or your shared resources. All right, well, that's the story, Morning Glories. Let's stop the share and get into the tarot. So I'm going to be using the Thoth Deck for you, Taurus, and we'll see what's ahead for this month for you. It's a message for Taurus for the month of November 2023. Oh, let me see. Depression. That's what fell to the ground. Hopefully that's where it'll stay. There could be a realization around oppression or around people who are oppressed. It's easy enough to find that out in the world, so that may become a focus for you or a concern for you, or you may do something to sort of work around that or work through it, or where you may be feeling of some oppression yourself. All right, let's see what we have here. We have disappointment, 5 of Cups. Yeah, there's a lot of sadness, there's a lot of disappointment. We hope that people will be better and situations will be better. This is a Mars and Scorpio vibration, and Mars is in Scorpio this month. So yeah, so there's some disappointment starting the month. Let's see what the challenge is. The challenge for that is to keep your spirits up, keep the home fires burning here. This is about taking and maintaining through difficult and emotionally challenging times a sense, not so much of optimism, well, I guess of optimism that there are better days on the way, and that if you hold on to spirit, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. Let's see what's underneath it. Yeah, so devastation. I can't help but think of what's been going on in Israel, specifically because that's the newest thing, at least as I'm doing these cards right now. So something, you thought something was one way, and your roots have been not shattered, shook. You're shook right from the ground. And it really, the tower is about an awakening. It's a painful thing, but it is, you have to start really being who you are, instead of all the facades and everything that you you think other people want you to be, or even the things that you aspire to when you define yourself with. Really, we are spirits having a human experience. Really, we are here to understand ourselves and to assert ourselves, but from a place of authenticity. And this tower moment is one of those. It's devastating. Now, I will mention, if this puts this in any context for you, that Israel is a Taurus country. So I can't help but do these cards and keep that's in my head. See, in the past, well, the end of a cycle. So whatever this was, it was the end of one way of being and the beginning of a new, because the end of a cycle is in the past. In the sky, we have the Emperor. This is about dominion. This is about leadership. This is about vision. This is a leader with vision. And so Spirit is saying that you need to have a vision of what it is that, now that the devastation has come, you need to have a vision of the kind of world you want to structure. This card, the Emperor card, is about the structure of things. It's the fourth major arcana. 4 is about building structure, but it's also about crisis. And it's about the crisis. It's about the structures that you build through and because of crisis. See, in the immediate future. Yeah, this feels like this is yeah, this is hard. You're going to have to really work through some pretty heavy duty feelings. In other decks, the 9 of Swords is anxiety. It's not necessarily, in this deck, it's the swords are dripping blood. It doesn't necessarily have to be that you have to worry about swords dripping blood around you. But there is this challenge, perhaps, on how to move forward without letting the cruelty that you see overtake you. How it's seen from outside. This, when I pull this card, I often say, well, who's outside of all of us? Well, people who know you know that you have the power if you focus your intentions on things. You have the ability, people see it. It's just a matter of focusing your mind. But I'll say to this, that with what you've been through, that is a challenge. That isn't the easiest thing. Your domestic situation, loss and defeat, this feels more like, anyway, this can be abuse of power. Where in your life is there abuse of power? Is somebody being mean and nasty to you? It's time to tell them to stop, put a boundary up. Your hopes and fears is one of pleasure. After these, who wouldn't want pleasure after all of this? This is also the 6 of Cups. There's a naivety about this. There's a childlike quality about this. And that's really what you're hoping for. Plus, the 6 is a vibration of community and peace and love. And that's really what you hope for. Fighting is futile. Fighting is futile. Outcome. Let's see what else we can get here. Dominion, the 2 of Wands. Swiftness, the 8 of Wands. And ruin. No matter who has hurt you, it's important that you step back and don't do anything out of anger, out of revenge, because that's not the way to move through this. This is not the energy to move through this. More fighting isn't going to make things better. Let's see what's underneath it. Indolence, which is inertia, love, and the Ace of Wands, new beginnings. If you want a new beginning, you must go through love. Whoops. You must turn your back on the old ways of relating, and you must come to a more balanced perspective of love. And then we have the new beginnings of the Ace of Wands, spirit. I did not expect these cards to be quite this difficult, but I will say this looks to me like a reading for Israel as well. And you can decide, like you may say, no, that's my reading. That's what happened to me. So again, this could be a more collective reading, or it could be specific to you. If this doesn't resonate with you, that's fine. And don't think you say, and if you look at it and you say, oh my God, that's not resonating, but is that going to happen to me? No, you can't. No. But you will see, even if it's not personal to you, you will see it in the outer world. And the advice is the same. Keep the spiritual fires burning. Stay in the love. Love is the only way through this. Love and unity is the only way through this. All right, let's pick a this is from the oh dear. Oh, I have to get the book. I left it over there. This is from the Spirit of the Wheel Oracle deck. This is one of my favorite decks, and I'm going to read right from the book. Okay. All right, I'll be right back. Let me grab that. I'm going to leave this up so you can look at it. Such a beautiful card. Incidentally, it's the 18th card, and we're at an 18-9 vibration this month. Okay. Big winds, moon. February 19th to March 20th. So that's Pisces energy. Leadership, self-discipline, and psychic abilities. Those born under the big wind's moon are psychically connected to the spiritual realm. Their ability to communicate with the unforeseen forces comes easily due to their highly sensitive natures. The card signals a time when your own psychic abilities are very strong. Your intuitions are very much in tune with your higher self. Allow this connection to help you on your path. You have procrastinated long enough. Stop self-sacrificing, as it is not only limits your potential but feeds your insecurities. You are lacking in self-discipline. Call upon the courage of the big wind's moon to see your dreams and visions through to the end. Spirit is asking you to share the bounty of your life. Channel your creative inspiration and learn to flow with the spiritual energies around you. Take your place of power. Big Wind's Moon people are often leaders because of their spirituality and their natural compassion for others. Learn to trust in the greater plan. Creator would not ask you to develop and share your gifts if you were not ready. Have faith in yourself and see your dreams through. And this is your prayer. I am ready, Spirit, to share the bounty of my life with others. I call upon the energies of the big wind moon for the courage to be a leader and to use my abilities wisely for the good of the whole. So there you go. You do matter, and what you have to say needs to be said. Utilize your psychic abilities and your healing gifts, not just for yourself, but for humanity. All right, guys, let's hope for a peaceful month. Much love, everyone. Namaste.